BP merupakan salah satu investor asing terbesar di negeri ini. Kami telah memberikan solusi energi selama 55 tahun. Kami telah membantu menghasilkan lapangan pekerjaan, investasi, dan pemasukan bagi negara tempat kami beroperasi. Tangguh LNG merupakan bisnis utama BP di Indonesia. BP terus berkomitmen untuk membantu pemerintah Indonesia dalam pemenuhan energi nasional dan di saat yang sama membawa manfaat sebesar-besarnya bagi masyarakat Papua Barat dan Indonesia. Inilah cara kami membayangkan kembali energi di Indonesia.
Malacca Strait PSC, Bentu PSC and Kerinci Baru PSC, Kanyan PSC, BPSC, Sengkang PSC, Gabunk PSC, Tolna PSC, Sanyata 2 CBM PSC, South CPP PSC, Buzi EPCC.
Saya tinggal bersama ibu aja. Bapak sudah meninggal waktu masih kecil. Waktu saya masih remaja, saya membantu orang tua saya di sawah. Di situ saya harus bekerja keras, disiplin, dan jujur. Sekarang saya bekerja di ExxonMobil Indonesia yang membantu pertumbuhan ekonomi. Dari sini saya belajar hal-hal yang baru dan mendapatkan kesempatan untuk menjadi yang lebih baik. Apa yang saya tanam, saya akan tuai di masa depan.
We are Mubadala Energy, a leading international energy company headquartered in Abu Dhabi, UAE. We follow the highest ethical, safety, and operating standards at all our assets and operations spanning 11 countries, with a primary geographical focus on the Middle East, North Africa, Russia, and Southeast Asia. Established in 2012, in 2022 we became Mubadala Energy. Our new strategy is focused on expanding across the gas value chain and into new energy sectors to play our part in the energy transition. Our approach to sustainability seeks to align the opportunities of the energy transition with having a purposeful environmental impact, maintaining a passion for people and their communities, and consistently delivering value to our shareholder. At Mubadala Energy, we deploy the latest technologies to meet the growing demand for energy in a sustainable and efficient way. Mubadala Energy, energizing the future.
From firewood to horse-drawn carriages, from coal-fueled steam engines to oil and gas, energy has been a key component in creating a better life for the human civilization. We, one member of Sinopec Group family, are excited about the development of clean energy and making the world a better place. Sinopec Group is an international energy and chemical company that has achieved upstream, middle-stream, and downstream integration with a wide range of products. It's been ranked in the top 3 of the Fortune Global 500 list for consecutive years. Sinopec has the largest oil refining and aromatic hydrocarbon production capacity in the world, as well as the second largest oil and gas producer in China. Its operations span more than 70 countries across the world. Sinopec International Petroleum Exploration and Production Corporation, SIPC.
Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, kami mengundang seluruh tamu untuk masuk ke dalam plenary hall dan juga pastinya menempati tempat duduk yang telah disediakan karena sesaat lagi acara akan segera kita mulai. Hadirin sekalian, sebelum kita memulai rangkaian acara kita pada pagi hari yang berbahagia ini, marilah kita saksikan bersama penampilan dari BP Indonesia Choir yang akan menyanyikan lagu Rayuan Pulau Kelapa. Please welcome BP Indonesia Choir. Amazing performance, thank you BP Indonesia Choir. Dan Bapak dan Ibu hadirin sekalian, penampilan berikutnya tarian tradisional Indonesia yang akan dibawakan oleh Petronas Dancer. Please welcome Petronas Dancer. Luar biasa, boleh kita berikan tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk Petronas Indonesia Dancer. Bapak dan Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, ladies and gentlemen, saat ini kita sedang menanti kehadiran Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral Republik Indonesia, Bapak Arifin Tasrif. Untuk itu, mohon kesediaannya untuk tetap berada di ruangan ini dan juga tetap menempati tempat duduk masing-masing. Terima kasih. Kami ucapkan selamat datang kepada yang terhormat Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral Republik Indonesia, Bapak Arifin Tasrif. A very warm welcome, Bapak Arifin Tasrif, to the 46th IPA Convex 2022. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Selamat pagi dan selamat datang, a very warm welcome kepada seluruh peserta dan juga pastinya tamu undangan dalam acara Opening Ceremony The 46 IPA Convex 2022. Saya Monica Chua berbangga hati dapat memandu acara yang sangat istimewa pada pagi hari yang berbahagia ini. Bapak dan Ibu, kami mengucapkan selamat pagi dan selamat datang kepada yang terhormat Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral Republik Indonesia, Bapak Arifin Tasrif, dan pastinya yang kami hormati Ketua Komisi 7 DPR RI, Bapak Sugeng Suparwoto, Wakil Menteri Ketenagakerjaan Republik Indonesia Bapak Insinyur Afriansyah Nor MSI, Kepala SKK Migas Bapak Dwi Sucipto, Direktur Jenderal Migas Bapak Tutuka Aryaji, Sekretaris Jenderal Kementerian ESDM Bapak Rida Mulyana, Presiden dari IPA Bapak Irtiza H. Sayed, para perwakilan negara sahabat, dan pastinya seluruh tamu undangan yang berbahagia. Terima kasih telah hadir dalam Opening Ceremony IPA Convex ke-46 2022 pada pagi hari ini. Bapak dan Ibu, hadirin sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesian Petroleum Association atau IPA bekerja sama dengan Diandra Promosindo kembali menyelenggarakan acara konvensi dan juga pameran IPA ke-46 yang akan dilaksanakan pada 21 hingga 23 September 2022 dengan tema Addressing the Dual Challenge, Meeting Indonesia's Energy Needs while Mitigating the Risk of Climate Change yang akan dilaksanakan secara hybrid, offline di Jakarta Convention Center dan juga online melalui virtual platform. Dan pastinya konsistensi dari IPA diharapkan mampu untuk menjangkau audiens secara global sekaligus pastinya mempertemukan para pelaku dan juga seluruh pemangku kepentingan industri hulu migas demi mengatasi tantangan peningkatan produksi migas dan juga penurunan dari emisi karbon. Dan sebelum kita memulai rangkaian acara kita pada pagi hari yang berbahagia ini, izinkan kami untuk mengucapkan terima kasih kepada PT Pertamina Hulu Energi sebagai Platinum Sponsor, BP Bureau Limited, PT Energi Mega Persada, Exxon Mobil, Medco Energy, Mubadala Energy, dan Petronas Indonesia sebagai Gold Sponsor, dan Chevron Indonesia, Harbor Energy, Schlumberger, Sinopec Indonesia sebagai silver sponsor. Terima kasih kami ucapkan telah mendukung acara The 46 IPA Convex 2022. Baiklah Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, untuk mengawali kebersamaan kita pada pagi hari ini, marilah kita menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan kita. Untuk itu hadirin kami mohon berdiri dan juga pastinya bersikap tegap. Lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya.
Terima kasih, hadirin kami mohon untuk duduk kembali. Baiklah hadirin sekalian, Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, ladies and gentlemen, untuk kita mengawali rangkaian acara kita pada pagi hari ini, marilah kita bersama-sama menyaksikan video profile The 46 IPA Convex 2022.
Kontribusi industri hulu migas bagi ketahanan energi nasional. Indonesia terus mempercepat pembangunan demi mewujudkan Indonesia Emas 2045. Menurut data Bappenas, produk domestik bruto diproyeksikan meningkat dan membuat Indonesia berada pada peringkat 5 dunia. Pertumbuhan ekonomi juga diharapkan meningkat dari 3,4% pada 2021 menjadi 5,7% pada 2045. Pada periode yang sama, permintaan gas bumi akan meningkat lebih dari 3 kali lipat, sedangkan minyak akan meningkat hampir 2 kali lipat. Minyak dan gas bumi memiliki kontribusi besar di era transisi energi, antara lain mendukung ketahanan energi melalui penyediaan gas bumi yang rendah emisi, meningkatkan produksi dan menurunkan impor migas, serta menciptakan lapangan kerja yang memberikan efek berganda. Namun, terdapat berbagai tantangan yang harus dihadapi industri hulu migas. Di antaranya, lokasi cadangan migas yang berada di daerah terluar atau frontier, minimnya infrastruktur, terbatasnya modal global untuk eksplorasi, besarnya investasi untuk teknologi CCS dan CCUS, dan ketidakpastian lainnya akibat konflik, pandemi, serta transisi energi. Transisi energi merupakan cara utama untuk mengurangi emisi karbon. Namun hal tersebut membutuhkan biaya yang tidak sedikit. Biaya yang dibutuhkan Indonesia untuk mencapai target NDC pada 2030 mencapai 2 triliun dolar Amerika. Industri hulu migas berperan penting dalam transisi energi, terutama dalam menyediakan energi yang lebih bersih. Demi mendukung peran tersebut, industri hulu migas berkomitmen meningkatkan produksi guna memenuhi kebutuhan energi dan mengurangi impor. Hal-hal tersebut perlu didukung melalui skema kebijakan yang menguntungkan semua pihak. Kepastian hukum dan berbagai kebijakan fiskal yang baik akan mampu menciptakan iklim investasi yang menarik bagi para investor. Dalam hal penurunan emisi karbon, saat ini terdapat 8 rencana proyek CCS dan CCUS di Indonesia yang berpotensi menurunkan emisi karbon hingga 234 juta ton CO2 pada masa mendatang. Angka ini setara dengan penyerapan karbon oleh hutan seluas 9 kali Pulau Jawa. Namun, kesenjangan yang besar antara produksi dengan permintaan energi perlu mendapat perhatian yang serius dari berbagai pihak. Pemerintah perlu segera melakukan perbaikan, baik dari segi kebijakan maupun kepastian hukum. Diharapkan iklim investasi di Indonesia menjadi lebih kompetitif. Dari sisi teknis, perlu adanya peningkatan kualitas dan kuantitas data migas. Mengingat belum adanya penemuan cadangan migas besar selama 20 tahun terakhir, serta lokasi potensi cadangan migas besar yang minim infrastruktur. Sebagai produsen migas terbesar di Asia Tenggara, Indonesia memiliki cadangan gas komersial besar yang tersebar di wilayah timur. Di antaranya, di Papua Barat sebesar 25%, Kalimantan 15%, Sumatera 13%, Jawa 8%, Maluku sebesar 32%, serta Laut Natuna sebesar 4%, dengan blok-blok besar seperti Tangguh LNG, Masela LNG, Rapak dan Ganal, dan lain sebagainya. Indonesia memerlukan strategi untuk meningkatkan daya tarik industri migas nasional. Kolaborasi stakeholders dibutuhkan untuk mengatasi tantangan yang ada demi menjaga pasokan energi. Dengan demikian, industri hulu migas dapat berkontribusi maksimal dalam mewujudkan transisi energi, sekaligus menjamin ketahanan energi nasional menuju Indonesia Emas 2045.
Bapak dan Ibu, mari kita berikan tepuk tangan yang meriah. Sekali lagi, mari kita satukan energi semangat untuk mengatasi tantangan peningkatan produksi migas dan juga pastinya penurunan dari emisi karbon. Dan selamat datang juga pastinya kami ucapkan kepada Gubernur Jawa Barat, Bapak Ridwan Kamil yang telah berkenan hadir di tengah kita pada pagi hari yang berbahagia ini. Dan berikutnya, Bapak dan Ibu hadirin sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, marilah kita simak bersama kata sambutan dari Presiden IPA, Bapak Irtiza Syed. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next agenda, please welcome Mr. Irtiza Syed to deliver his opening speech.
Yang terhormat, Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral Bapak Arifin Tasrif, Wakil Menteri Manpower and Transmigration Bapak Afrin Saya Nur, Ketua Komisi 7 DPR Republik Indonesia Bapak Sugeng Suparwoto, Kepala SKK Migas Bapak Dwi Sujipto, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is indeed wonderful to be here today in person after not being able to host the IPA Convex since 2019 due to the COVID pandemic. Seeing the smiling faces this morning reconfirmed to me how much I have missed seeing friends and colleagues. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Suatu kehormatan bagi saya untuk berada di sini at the IPA Convention and Exhibition 2022, highlighting the theme, addressing the dual challenge, meeting Indonesia's energy needs while mitigating risks of climate change. I want to begin by highlighting a simple yet incredibly significant fact, which is that Indonesia is blessed with an abundance of resources. Experts agree that Indonesia's oil and gas reserves are globally significant. All key stakeholders collaborating together at a conference such as the IPA Convex can unlock such potential. As the president of the IPA, I'm also grateful that since its founding in 1971, we have connected the key players in the upstream oil and gas industries, not only to communicate goals, but also to uncover solutions. According to the General Plan of National Energy Modeling, Indonesia's oil consumption will increase by 139%, and gas consumption will increase by almost 300% over the coming decades. This, of course, is tied directly to the expected population growth of up to 350 million people by 2050. Over this same period, the governments, people, and industry are working towards a lower carbon future. The contribution of energy from renewable sources will significantly increase over the coming decades to meet the total increase in energy demand. Given this dual challenge of meeting growing energy demand and doing so in an environmentally conscious manner, for an economy such as Indonesia, where hyper-growth is expected, requires a multi-dimensional solution. Within the next handful of years, we need to aggressively explore and then look to develop these resources. Such effort will check two boxes simultaneously: increase state revenue and meet the growing energy demand in Indonesia. The above should be done in concert with lowering overall carbon emissions. One of the most promising technologies to achieve this goal is the utilization of carbon capture and sequestration. The energy sector has been doing this for decades, but with a primary focus on operations integrity. The same concept of CCS can be implemented and done at scale on high CO2 emission sites, such as industrial complexes. This would immediately contribute to a lower carbon footprint. New industrial complexes should be designed in a manner which allows for the efficient capture of CO2, aggregation, and transport to a sequestration site. Deploying low-carbon technology to reduce emissions is critical in achieving net zero emissions. Supportive policies will be required to promote investments. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe the future for Indonesia is bright. and all of the ingredients are present for the energy sector to continue to play a critical role in meeting Indonesia's growing energy needs. We all must work together to address the dual challenge, especially by working closely with the government of Indonesia. I very much appreciate all of your presence at this year's IPA convention and exhibition. We play a decisive role in meeting the surging energy demand while simultaneously supporting the energy transition. Distinguished guests, fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Itiza Sayed, for the remarkable speech. Dan acara berikutnya, Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, marilah kita simak bersama video ucapan selamat dari Menteri Koordinator Bidang Kemaritiman dan juga Investasi Republik Indonesia, Bapak Luhut Binsar Panjaitan.
Good morning, everyone. First, I congratulate Indonesia Petroleum Association for holding this long-awaited event due to the pandemic. I was told that the event was postponed since 2020 and was held outlined last year. And with the blessing we have today, we can safely have the event both online and in person. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me start my remarks with the headline. The oil and gas industry remains strategic to the economic development of Indonesia. The industry role is even more significant as Indonesia supports the Paris Agreement to achieve its net zero emission by 2050 or before by providing much needed cleaner energy that helps us to transition to more renewables in the energy mix. This is not an easy task, as we must maintain Indonesia's economic growth, and at the same time, it will require abundant, affordable, and reliable energy sources. As you probably heard me iterating in different venues, Indonesian growth for the past 3 quarters is more than 5%, despite the conflict happening in Ukraine, and the world is still recovering from the pandemic. This is impressive compared to our neighbors and even developed countries. I commend everyone, including the oil and gas industry, for supporting that achievement. This tells us two things. One thing for sure is people want to invest in Indonesia. We are more open to investment than before. The downstreaming initiative that President Jokowi has instructed to several sectors has followed more investment flows into the country. And two, energy availability and security have become more important than ever to support Indonesian growth. The roadmap to reduce the emission per nationally determined contribution must be properly drafted and implemented to promote new investment, new exploration, particularly in eastern part of Indonesia, and the use of carbon capture technology in oil and gas and other hard decarbonized facilities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to hear more and more good news from the oil and gas industry. Congratulations to Premier Oil, which has recently discovered a new gas field of offshore Aceh. Pertamina Hulu Rokan has completed more than 350 new wells within a year after the acquisition ExxonMobil's Cepu block to drill more clastic and infill wells. This is precisely what I want to hear more about the industry, more discoveries and more activities. We want to show the world how attractive making business in Indonesia is. And we want those not only to benefit Indonesians through technology transfers and capacity building, but make a good return for the investors. Again, congratulations to IPA. Let's bring more investment in oil and gas to our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bapak Luhut Binsar Panjaitan for the opening speech. Dan Bapak Ibu, hadirin sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, melanjutkan agenda acara kita pada pagi hari ini, kami mengundang dengan hormat kepada Menteri Energi dan Sumber Daya Mineral Republik Indonesia, Bapak Arifin Tasrif, untuk menyampaikan kata sambutan.
Honorable Bapak Sugeng Suparwoto, Member of the House, Representative of the Republic of Indonesia, Chair of the 7th Commission, Bapak Wamen Tenaga Kerja, Mr. Istiza Syed, President of Indonesia Petroleum Association, Bapak Subroto, selamat ulang tahun Pak. Doa dari seluruh yang hadir pada acara ini untuk kesehatan Bapak. Bapak Gubernur Jawa Barat Pak Ridwan Kamil, selamat datang. Serta bapak-bapak para senior dan juga yang mewakili representatif dari all institution ministerial office and distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to participate at the 46th Indonesian Petroleum Association Convention and Exhibition. My deepest appreciation to Indonesia Petroleum Association to organize this event. Oil and gas development has a long history in Indonesia, dated back to 1871, which conducted by the Dutch in Cirebon area. The first commercial production beginning in 1885 from the Telaga Said, your name, Pak Said, well in North Sumatra, and was followed by establishment of the Royal Dutch Company in Pangkalan Brandan. An offshore era began in 1969 by the discovery of an offshore oil field in the Pamanukan area. In the first half of the 20th century, 3 groups of merged companies under foreign ownership dominated exploration and production in Indonesia, namely Shell, Stanvac, and Caltex. As Indonesian National Oil Company, PT Pertamina was established in 1957. In order to regulate oil and gas business activities, the government of Indonesia issued the first law on oil and gas mining in 1960, which stated that oil and gas mining business is only carried out by state oil companies as mining authorization holders. This provision abolished the foreign concession to be replaced by a contract of work. Since then, foreign companies are only contractors of state companies. Indonesia initiated production sharing contract model in 1966 and has implemented through 3 generations. The first generation, 1965 to 1978, cost recovery was limited to 40%. The contractors' share was 35% net, and the domestic market obligation was without a grace period. The second generation, in 1978 to 1988, has no restrictions on cost recovery, 15% net contractor share, 20% investment credit, and domestic market obligation at market price for 5 years. The third generation, 1988 to 2016, was introduced by First Trans Petroleum, which accounts for 20% of gross production, and DMO, which varies between export prices. In early 2017, Indonesia established a new form of production sharing contract, the Gross Split PSC, which abolished the cost recovery system, first pioneered by Indonesia in 1966. However, currently we provide contract flexibility, either cost recovery PSC or Gross Split PSC. In 1971, the law concerning state oil and gas mining company was established, which provides two functions of Pertamina, namely as operator and regulator, while the functions of policies held by the government. In this law, assume and discharge was introduced to attract the investor. Indonesia experienced oil boom twice. First in 1974, when OPEC drastically cut its official exports, which caused oil prices to soar. Second, in 1979, when Iran was undergoing a national revolution and disrupted the world's oil supply, which meant a high spike in world oil prices. The two oil booms caused Indonesia gain very excessive profits from the sale of oil, which contributed significantly to the increasing of economic growth. Indonesia has also experienced two peak periods of oil production in 1977 and in 1995 at more than 1.6 million barrels per day, mainly coming from Rokan, Jatibarang, Mahakam, and Arjuna onshore West Java. Meanwhile, gas production also reached a peak in 2004 at 1,500,000 barrel oil equivalent per day, come from Forwata field. Peak production of both oil and gas occurred in 1998 at about 3 million barrel oil equivalent per day. After 1995, oil production is decreasing steadily, as well as gas production in 2005, because the absence of discovery of large oil reserves, lack of exploration and investment, limited financing, COVID-19, and shifting investment to the renewable energy. However, we will boost oil and gas production to reach the target by 1 million barrel oil per day and 12 BSEFD by several strategies such as optimization existing production, transformation resources to production, acceleration, chemical enhanced oil recovery, and massive exploration for huge recovery, as well as unconventional oil and gas development. Indonesia oil and gas upstream investment potential are still huge. We have 70 potential unexplored basins offered for the investors. We will accelerate exploration in 5 working areas of East Indonesia, namely Buton, Timor, Seram, Aru Arafura, and West Papua onshore. Currently, we also have 4 promising oil and gas projects, namely IDD Gendalo and Gehem, Jambaran Tiung Biru, Abade Field, and Tangguh Trenti, which expected to increase oil and gas production by 65,000 barrel oil per day and 3,480 million SCF with total investment more than $37 billion. To further increase our oil and gas production, we will announce Indonesia Petroleum bidding round for a second round in 2022, consists of 5 candidates for direct offer, 1 candidate for direct offer available block of PAUS, one candidate for regular tender, and one direct offer of West Kampar. Then, to encourage more upstream investment in Indonesia, the government has conducted some breakthrough policies through contract flexibility, such as cost recovery PSC or gross bid PSC, term and condition improvement on bid round, fiscal, non-fiscal incentive, online permit submission, and regulation adjustment for unconventional. Furthermore, in order to attract the investment, we will revise oil and gas law of 2021 by providing such a fiscal term improvement, assume and discharge, ease of doing business, and contract certainty. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Indonesia underlined the importance of tackling climate change challenge and promising green development in energy transition towards net zero emission by 2060 or sooner. Nevertheless, the role of oil and gas in energy transition is very critical because fossil fuels still play a significant role in meeting national energy demand. For this reason, a measurable transition process is needed. We should manage our energy system to be adjusted accordingly. Within the context of low carbon energy, the role of natural gas is crucial as transitional energy before the dominance of fossil fuel shift to renewable energy in the long run. Of course, this energy transition will be carried out in multiple stages by considering competitiveness, cost, availability, and sustainability. Striking the balance between increasing oil and gas production and carbon emission target, we should promote low emission technology and innovation, for instance, through deployment of CCUS. There are 14 CCS projects in Indonesia currently, but all activities are still in the study preparation stage, but most are targeted to be on stream before 2030. One of promising projects that will be implemented in near term is Tangguh Enhanced Gas Recovery and CCUS. This project aims to reduce carbon emission around 25 million tons of CO2 by 2035, as well as increase production up to 300 BCF until 2035. Tangguh EGR and CCUS could be a role model for future development in Indonesia. Currently, the government is preparing ministerial regulation on CCS. In the first step, our main focus is to regulate CCS and CCUS for enhanced oil recovery, enhanced gas recovery, or enhanced coal bed methane in oil and gas working areas. We are still finalizing the draft, and this regulation is one of our priorities. The government has set a roadmap for Indonesia on conventional oil and gas development by 2030 through several steps as follows: government improvements and inventory potential, productivity testing, commercialization and exploitation, production optimization, and production development. We encourage the acceleration of unconventional oil and gas, as we have shale oil and shale gas resource in Indonesia. Thus, we improve regulation and fiscal of unconventional oil and gas, which cover such as existing oil and gas PSC contractors may exploit the resource of unconventional oil and gas in their working area through the same PSC without tender process. Conventional oil and gas firm work commitments can also be transferred to unconventional firm work commitments. Second, better fiscal terms are currently being prepared by simulating simpler PSC forms and more attractive unconventional oil and gas contract terms and conditions. Distinguished speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, I believe through international collaboration, oil and gas industry can cope all the challenges by implementing all technologies that can further help us to reduce greenhouse gas emission towards net zero emission. We invite the contribution of all related stakeholders in exploring, produce, and developing the oil and gas sector of Indonesia, as well as arising of new innovations and satisfactory solutions that will bring prosperity to all of us. Thank you.
Terima kasih kami ucapkan kepada Bapak Arifin Tasrif dan mohon berkenan untuk tetap di atas panggung karena sebentar lagi kita akan masuk ke dalam acara inti kita yang akan membuka langsung The 46 IPA Convex 2022. Kami juga turut mengundang dengan hormat kepada Ketua Komisi 7 DPR RI, Wamen Ketenagakerjaan RI, Kepala SKK Migas, Dirjen Migas, dan juga pastinya IPA President untuk bergabung di atas panggung untuk bisa mendampingi langsung Bapak Arifin Tasrif. Dan kami juga mohon kesediaan dari Bapak Arifin Tasrif untuk nantinya bisa menggerakkan tuas dari pompa angguk atau force pump untuk membuka langsung di 46 IPA Convex 2022. Bagaimana Pak Arifin, sudah siap? Siap ya? Kalau hadirin bagaimana Bapak Ibu, sudah siap? Boleh saya dengar suaranya? Siap ya? Oke, kalau semuanya sudah siap, langsung saja kita hitung mundur bersama. 3, 2, 1. Silahkan digerakkan tuasnya Pak Arifin. Boleh kita berikan tepuk tangan yang paling meriah. Dan hadirin sekalian, dengan ini The 46 IPA Convex 2022 telah resmi kita buka. Dan pastinya kami mohon berkenan Bapak Ibu untuk tetap berada di atas panggung karena kita akan melakukan sesi foto bersama sekali lagi nantinya di depan pompa ya tuas. Boleh rekan-rekan media untuk bersiap sedia. Kita akan foto bersama sekali lagi di depan force pump yang telah kami sediakan. Kita hidung sekali lagi. 3, 2, 1. Ya, dan kami juga turut mengundang Gubernur Jawa Barat Bapak Ridwan Kamil untuk pastinya kita bisa bersama-sama mengabadikan momen yang berbahagia ini. Kami persilakan untuk naik ke atas panggung Bapak Ridwan Kamil. Ya, dan kita ketahui Bapak Ridwan Kamil juga merupakan Ketua Asosiasi dari Penghasil Migas. Ya, berikan senyuman terbaiknya Bapak-bapak sekalian. Oh, mau yang ada candid Pak, silakan. Kita hitung sekali lagi ya, terakhir teman-teman media. 3, 2, 1. Sekali lagi. 3, 2, 1. Boleh diberikan tepuk tangan yang paling meriah. Sekali lagi dengan pembukaan The 46 IPA Convex 2022. Dan Bapak-bapak sekalian kami persilakan untuk bisa duduk kembali dan juga pastinya nantinya akan untuk langsung begitu ya melakukan peninjauan ke area pameran. Ya, dan kepada seluruh tamu undangan kami mohon untuk tetap duduk sejenak dan kita akan bersama-sama menyimak penampilan dari BP Indonesia Choir. Kami sampaikan sekali lagi kepada para tamu undangan lainnya, kami mohon untuk tetap berada di dalam ruangan plenary hall dan kita akan simak bersama penampilan dari BP Choir Indonesia. Namun sebelumnya, izinkan kami untuk mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada para sponsor yang telah mendukung penyelenggaraan dari IPA Convex 2022. Dan saya Monica Chua pamit undur diri mewakili panitia penyelenggara. Kami mohon maaf apabila ada yang kurang berkenan dalam penyelenggaraan acara pada pagi hari ini. Mari kita sambut bersama BP Indonesia Choir. Selamat berkunjung ke IPA Convex 2022. Stay safe and also stay healthy. Tapi apa lah ya?
Ngiring mencangeran di Jawa Tengah Araki janjangi jangir Araki janjangi jangir Araki janjangi jangir Kopiak pom pom Kopiak sedih ding 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 dong Kopiak sedopak dedopong Sriak srio Ngiring mencangeran di Jawa Tengah Ngiring mencangeran di Jawa Tengah Araki